Hi YouTube, Luminousz Ztarr here. Welcome to my channel, the Luminousz Ztarr. If this is your first time visiting, welcome, welcome. Current subscribers, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much for your subscription. At the end of the video, guys, please send me questions, comments, hit the like and or subscription button. Okay, here we go. Another video today. Okay, this one is about parents who project, narcissistic parents who project their stuff onto their children. Okay, this one is going to be a little bit deep, so if you're not ready for this one, you know, you might want to go ahead and look at another one of my videos, okay? Or come back to this one later. All right, here we go. Now, sometimes what parents, narcissistic parents, do is they are in a state of resistance. In other words, they are not conscious to exactly the damage that they do to their children. Now, notice I said sometimes. Sometimes the narcissistic parents can be quite sadistic. So they know exactly the damage that they're doing or putting on or causing their child because they project all their stuff. So they systematically, okay, it's a systematic abusive system that's going on. Dysfunctional family, another way to put it, dysfunctional family. Okay, there's a whole lot of various abuses that go on. Sexual, mental, psychological, spiritual. Yeah, it's pretty dirty. It's pretty ugly, it's dark, it's dirty. Yeah, pretty deep stuff. So sometimes narcissistic parents, right, they know exactly what they're doing. So they set their children up for failure because actually narcissistic parents, they tend to look at their children or their child as property, not as a person, right? Sometimes they they're a little twisted with it, and narcissistic parents see those children as extensions of themselves or mini me's, right? That's what the narcissist, okay, they're an extension of me and they're my property, so I get to use them as I please. This is how narcissists usually, you know, narcissistic parents usually view their children. So what I really want to say is the children who grow up, and if they see adulthood, no doubt they're traumatized from that experience, from that childhood experience, right? No doubt they're traumatized. So what often happens is when that child grows up or those children grow up and the narcissistic parents are still up to their old ways, and they usually are, narcissistic parents, they tend to stay in a state of resistance. In other words, they're not going to take responsibility for what they've done. They're not going to look at it. They're not going to deal with it, unfortunately. So when the child or the children grow up to be adults, they have to work through that trauma. They have to work through it. If they haven't become narcissists themselves and just decided to pass it on, because that happens too. But I want to talk about the people who are dealing with the fact that they were traumatized due to being raised, or I'm going to go ahead and say traumatized by and abused by narcissistic parents or a parent who was narcissistic. Those are the people I'm really talking to right now. However, to everyone, if you get something out of this video, kudos, great, bravo. But I'm really talking to those adults who are dealing with the trauma because of that. They were dealing with narcissistic parents from childhood. Those are the people I'm really talking to right now. So unfortunately, the narcissistic parents will continue to be in denial. They will continue to be in resistance. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do about that. Not on that end. But however, for you, yes, you don't have to carry that anymore. You don't have to carry their shame anymore. Because remember, now I mentioned this in another video, but you and I have been programmed in our subconscious mind to behave a certain way. And the narcissist downloaded that program when you and I were children. That narcissistic parent downloaded a particular type of program that will serve them. Yes, that is sadistic, that is sick, it's twisted, but it's true. The narcissistic parents, right? They download a particular type of programming, information into that child. So that child is actually set up to continue to attract and invest in toxic relationships with other narcissists out in the world for the rest of their life. Pretty grim, I know. It's awful. But when narcissistic parents do this, they tend to stay in a state of resistance. So the best thing that I have found that works for me, it's several things that have worked for me. One of them is to become more knowledgeable about trauma and about how narcissistic parents operate. And then I took it further and said, I'm not going to try to change them. That's a lost cause. I'm not going to waste my time and energy. I am going to cope and deal and continue to grow and continue to become a greater version of myself, regardless of the damage the narcissistic parents have done. Because I see they're still in a state of resistance. They're still doing their thing. They're not there. I'm not giving place to them anymore. Because if I give place to them in my life, they're going to come with their stuff to project onto me. In other words, they're going to keep with the same programming. No matter what I say, no matter what I do, no matter how successful I am in life, no matter where I go on the planet and be successful, the narcissistic parents will continue to see me as a person they can continue to download crappy information into and or project their stuff onto. See, that programming, that dynamic will never change as far as like the narcissistic parents go. I learned that, guys, through trial and error, because it was pretty tough for me to let go, right? This is family we're talking about. That's my oven. So this is something that it was tough for me to let go of. So well into my adulthood, guys, I was still holding on to my parents. I was still looking for the validation. I was still looking for the love, the approval. Till it dawned on me, no, that's not going to happen. They're not going to change, but I can. So that was part of my healing. So I started constructively doing things for myself. And it was very helpful. So in this video, I wanted to just make it brief. And I wanted to talk about, again, how when narcissistic parents, okay, when they project their stuff onto children. I didn't want to get too deep into it yet. I'm going to do another video about this, so stay tuned. This is the first one. This is the first part. So I just kind of wanted to ease you guys into it, because this is a grim subject. People are talking about this more, but it still hurts. You know, it's still disheartening. So this is an introduction, right, to the video that I'm going to continue to do about narcissistic parents who project their stuff onto their children. Okay, so I'm going to end it for now. Stay tuned for part 2. And again, don't try to change your parents who are narcissistic. Don't try to change them. Focus on yourself. Do what's good for you. Your life has purpose. Remember that. Okay, guys, stay tuned for part 2. Until then, take care of yourself. Mwah.